Pageant material, I wrote this one with Luke Laird and Shane McAnally, and at the time, writing it, I didn't know that it would become the theme of the record or, the title track. But the song just kind of made me laugh. I love old country songs that had a sense of humor, and this one's just kind of a sarcastic little kind of jab at myself for just not always being pageant perfect, as a lot of times I feel like women are kind of expected to be when they're in the spotlight. So we just had fun with it, and I just got to really think about, my Texas roots and growing up there and always being around these beauty pageants and, that whole scene, and we just had a good time with it. And then later, it became the theme for the record. I'm kind of clumsy. I'm also a spiller. Anybody that knows me, does not want their full glass of liquid around me. I will knock it over. So the song, This Town, I've always really loved. It's one of my favorites on the record. And it has this kind of Bobby Gentry, moody vibe. Talks about being in a small town where, the town's too small to be mean. If you're mean to someone, they're gonna find out. And we ended up, after tracking it, putting a recording that I had of my late grandmother's voice on it. It's a story she was telling. And this woman was awesome. She was just a character and always had these crazy stories. She worked in an ER, as a nurse my whole life. So she always had just the weirdest stories ever. And so we'd get her going on her stories all the time. And one night in the living room, I pressed record, kind of secretly on my phone, and just caught her telling one of the stories and just thought, I might want to hear this someday. I didn't even have a purpose for it, and she ends up passing away, and we end up just using it on the track. So that song has been kind of a little bit of a source of kind of sadness, but also happiness too, because it's kind of a trip that her voice is now literally part of my musical, path. Are You Sure is an old Willie Nelson song that was on a record of his a long time ago, and it's not one that he ever plays out live anymore. I've never seen him play it or heard him play it. And when we got to be on tour with him last year, we were just sitting around on the bus, and I just wanted to ask him about it. So I was like, do you ever do that song, Are You Sure? And he was like, are you sure this is where you want to be? And I was like, yeah, that song. And he's like, wow, he couldn't believe I knew it. I just stumbled across it on YouTube one day, and I just really loved it. It's very, very honest and very country, and it's a neat perspective. It's someone sitting at a bar saying, look around you, look down the bar from you, look at all these local used-to-bes. Are you sure this is where you want to be? And so I swear he seemingly pulled a guitar out of a cloud of smoke and just started strumming. He's like, now what key would you do this in? And I was, of course, dying inside a little bit. He was like, I'd love to sing on it with you if you let me. So it just kind of came about organically, and it was meant to be just a hidden track at the end, kind of a surprise, a little nugget for the people who make it to the end of the record.